Hi everyone, welcome back to Between Worlds Tarot. In today's pick a card reading, we are going to look into what kind of life are you meant for. And so, before we start the reading, if you ever resonate, please subscribe so you won't miss any future readings. Comment down below and press the like button. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you will find my email in the description box below. You can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. If you are interested in tarot readings that are love related or for relationship guidance, you can check my first channel, Between Realms Tarot. You will find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for staying through this intro, and let's head to your pile selection. For today's reading, I have 3 piles for you represented by 3 oracle cards. And so for pile number 1, this is going to be your oracle card, the blue portal. For pile number 2, this one is going to be your oracle card, and as you see, we have the golden portal. And for pile number 3, this is going to be your oracle card, and as you see, we have this dark purple portal. As usual, take a deep breath in, exhale slowly, let go of all of your thoughts and your worries, and choose the pile that draws you the most. If you feel drawn to more than one pile, you can definitely do that. This reading is timeless and it will resonate whenever you find it. You will find the timestamps in the description box below, and if you have picked your pile, let's start your reading. Hi, pile number 1. If you have picked this night blue portal, this is going to be a reading about the kind of life that you are meant for, and so let's start your reading. So, pile number 1. First of all, here with the energy of Venus in the 9th house in Scorpio, this immediately gives me the feeling of a life that transforms you deeply. A life that is about living according to your own truth, to your authentic self rather than expectations of others. A life where you are allowed to expand beyond your current limits. The 9th house represents themes of expansion, of free will, of willpower, psychologically, expansion that could be psychological or actually physical or mental. Also travel, higher education, philosophy, also teaching, spirituality. And with this Venus in the 9th house in Scorpio, you're meant for a life that expands your horizons and challenges your beliefs and the beliefs that are expected of you. And so it's almost like you are called to not want a shallow existence. If that is not something that you want, you are meant for that, for intensity, for meaning, for depth, and for adventure, and also for soul connections with this Venus in Scorpio. So I feel like if there is something that you'd like to teach others, or with this Venus in Scorpio in the 9th house, this can seem like externalizing some form of knowledge that you spent some time cultivating. So you're not meant to stay in confining environments where you're not allowed to speak the truth. I feel like there might be something around taboo things, taboo subjects in your life. Maybe you don't feel comfortable with some things being called taboo and not being allowed to talk about those just because other people think that it's inappropriate. And so you're meant to somehow not stay in confinement and express yourself according to what do you think is authentic to you. You're meant to broaden your world. And I feel like you're even maybe meant to have connections with people outside of your current, or that people who don't share the same cultural and religious background as you do. Scorpio energy can also hint at some form of research, and so the occult may be part of what you would like to explore in this lifetime, if that's what you feel called to. Some form of artistic or occultic art, some form of occultic teaching. I feel like if that is something you feel called to, or called to do, you're definitely meant for that. So that is your confirmation. Now, with the Seven of Wands, you're currently living in survival mode. With the Seven of Wands, you might be defending yourself. You might be fighting against not only people that misunderstand you or people that maybe don't agree on who you are, do not respect who you are, but also fighting against circumstances that limit you. You seem to be constantly having to protect yourself, your identity, your beliefs, your dreams. Maybe you're battling against family expectations, society expectations, limitations, fears, people's opinions about who you are and what you should do and what you should be. And so you're not in a place of ease right now. You're constantly in the survival mode here. The world here hints at the fact that what your soul is secretly craving is expansion. So it's very interesting that we have the world and the ninth house here. This is one of the strongest travel cards in tarot, but it is also a card of completion, a card of expansion, a card of reaching the end of a journey, of reaching expertise, feeling like you have enough experience, that you cultivate enough experience. But it also talks about freedom, about finishing a cycle, beginning another, feeling like you're a person of the world. You might not feel like you belong in one place. You feel like you belong in different places in the world, and maybe you want to experience different cultures. You want to do research in different cultures, maybe. And so the world says that what your soul is craving is getting out of walls, not letting yourself be confined. Maybe you want to move abroad, maybe you want to travel, maybe it is about building an online community, maybe it is about expanding your knowledge or having maybe some type of freedom that grants you an experience that is beyond your current limits, whether it is studying overseas, working overseas, learning, or just having experiences or having an international audience. With the Six of Swords here, your hidden gift here is your ability to transition, to move beyond your current limitations towards another world where you're leaving painful experiences behind, you're leaving painful situations behind, and moving towards calmer waters. You're moving towards more potential fulfillment. You're leaving behind difficult periods and moving towards calmer waters after chaos. And so your gift here may be related to your capacity to decide to move and to heal, and to also your adaptability in new environment and to new circumstances. And so with that, you might have the ability to help others do the same, to help others transition, to help others heal, to teach others about how to navigate change and different circumstances. And so you understand how to transition from a previous circumstance or a previous life to another because you yourself lived it. With the Nine of Swords here, what is probably blocking this path currently is something related to fear. Maybe there's this overwhelming anxiety and mental chatter, and as you see here, there is this figure on the bed that is crying or facing a lot of anxiety here, being stressed. And there are figures around her. They might be ghosts, or they might be worries, and they might be other people. It is just a feeling of anxiety, of stress, of constant overthinking. And all of this can affect your ability to live in the moment, to plan, to decide what to do. A lot of these overwhelming thoughts can be resulting from imagining worst case scenarios, from catastrophizing, from worrying that things won't work out, but also from burdening yourself with what's going on around you too. And so You might be having fears here that are about what if something doesn't work, what if things fall or fail, or maybe there's a fear of being alone here. But the thing is that what is blocking you is related to a prison that is created by your mind rather than an actual blockage. So, despite and to not at all invalidate what you're going through, you seem to be in a survival mode, fighting many forces that are against you. Still, what we see here is that what your soul is craving and one of your talents is moving beyond those limitations. And so it seems like you have the capacity to move beyond um, those limiting circumstances or people. And what is blocking you currently is a mental limitation. Not that you don't already fight a lot of external things, but again, since you do have the talent of moving away from what no longer serves you, it seems like what's going on right now is some type of a mental prison that you're fighting, and that's keeping you in this bubble of maybe not moving, not taking the decision, not starting the process of making your dreams come true. When it comes to the life that you're secretly meant for, at the end here we have the Two of Swords, and it's a strange card here. The Two of Swords can talk about indecision, but I feel like in this position talks about a sense of sovereignty and peace. Because the woman in the Two of Swords, she closes her eyes. There's a blindfold around her eyes here, and there are two swords in here, and it seems like this feels like a life where you no longer live according to other people's expectations and you trust your inner guidance. You no longer let other people decide for you or let circumstances decide for you. You create based on what is a good combination between logic and intuition for you, and you choose your own path. There is a decision making in this card, and I feel like the life that you are secretly meant for is a life where you get to decide and a life where you get to choose, rather than a life where you get to be controlled by circumstances or people. And so you might be working, or you might be meant for work that is related to psychology, guidance, counseling, meditation, especially counseling here, and also maybe research with this Scorpio energy. With the Ten of Wands here, what this life requires from you to step into it is to carry responsibilities that belong to you and let go of obligations that are not yours. Maybe with the Seven of Wands, a lot of this fighting and survival mode put you into a place where you're carrying burdens that are not yours. Where are your burdens a mixture of yours and others? Where do you need to let go of what others think of you and what others demand from you, just out of telling you what to do, instead of, it's not your obligation. Maybe you're carrying somebody else's responsibilities, burdens, feelings. Maybe you feel kind of responsible for another person's happiness, and so you may have to put down expectations and baggage from your life so that you can experience this life that is secretly meant for you. The Five of Pentacles here shows a transition. This one shows where you leave an old place before the new one is fully established. The Five of Pentacles shows that there is a point where you might be feeling like you're starting over. You're in a place mentally or physically or emotionally where you feel lonely temporarily. There are maybe financial adjustments. You might feel lack of support from others. And so that is leaving like familiar support systems, or people may not support you in this decision to move towards what you want in life. And so, despite that being something that you can transition into, it could mean starting over. It could mean that everything that kind of disappointed you, or disappointed you in the past, whether they were people or circumstances, everything that disappointed you, that let you down, you're going to feel that, and you're going to accept that situation where there is lack and where you need to construct a life for you. And so you simply have to allow yourself to seek this life, even if there is this huge amount of lack that you might be feeling, because this beginning to this life will feel difficult. You will not feel supported because maybe everybody, again, who were around you, they were people or circumstances that were against you. And so, where you're going next, where you need to build again, it's somewhere meaningful. It's a bit lonely at the beginning, but it's also meaningful because it means that you get to construct what makes you feel fulfilled instead of stay with people or in circumstances that make you feel lacking. What makes this life deeply fulfilling here is the contentment card. And contentment is, I think it's synonymous to the word fulfillment. And so this is beautiful because your soul seems to not seek endless achievement or worldly ego validation. It seems to want peace, a sense of roundedness in your life's authenticity, a meaningful existence rather than something that is ego driven. And so you're not chasing status, you're chasing a life that feels right for you. And within that life, you will find a lot of things that make you feel, again, with the Five of Pentacles, you might start from this place of the Five of Pentacles, but you will seek to fill that space of lack with a lot of contentment, with meaningful contentment. You will find people and situations that would make you feel deeply content, and that is where you will find happiness and fulfillment. When it comes to the biggest lesson that this life teaches you, we have the card Seek Solitude, and there is a lot of contemplation to this card. As you see this figure here, I think it's a he. He's contemplating between the oak trees, and there is this winged helmet on his head. This one symbolizes inspiration and quick ideas. So there are quick ideas that are not invading, but that are filling this person's head in his contemplation. And where there is a figure in here in the forest, he seems to not notice that because of the constant inspiration that comes in his head. And so this specific card talks about hearing your own voice. It seems also that the biggest lesson here may be to be content with one's own existence, to be comfortable in solitude, to be comfortable alone, to stop looking outside of yourself for answers and for support, because clearly that's not what's available for you in your current circumstances. And so an outside alignment, or an alignment with the life that you are meant for, is also related to an alignment with yourself. So the more you're comfortable with who you are, the more you're able to make decisions to move towards the life or the things or the circumstances and the people that make you feel content. So you might be required periods of solitude because that's where a lot of wisdom is to be awakened within you. When it comes to a message from your higher self about this life that you are secretly meant for, we have the dark moon, and this one says, in the dark of your heart lives new breath waiting for you to release its ghost. And this one talks about clearly what you're going through right now. It's saying that what you're going through right now, it's not the end, and that you might feel stuck and unsure and lost and exhausted, and as if nothing is moving. Still, this dark moon card talks about the fact that a new chapter is forming currently, and that it is directed or forming through your own dreams and through your own thoughts and feelings. And you're being encouraged here by your higher self to dream bigger than your current circumstances, and to know that there is more that is available for you. And so the life that you are meant for might seem impossible for you right now, but your soul already knows that you're meant for something more, for something that is deeply fulfilling and satisfying for you. And that even if it feels like there is no way out currently, there is actually a life that is forming for you. And you need to contribute to it by believing in your authenticity, believing in your worthiness of leaving the old world behind, and trust yourself, begin again, and have the courage to dream bigger beyond your current circumstances, because you will ultimately have more peace and contentment, even if it feels so dark right now. And you do have to believe in that, because that is the only way for you to get there. If you don't believe in it, it will feel so hard. You might even not take the necessary steps to do so, or to live the life that you want. And so you're being encouraged by your higher self to dream bigger, and to believe, and to know that you are meant for what you want and for what you desire. So, pile number 1, this is all I have for you today. I hope this reading resonated for you. If it did, please press the like button, comment down below, and subscribe so you won't miss any future readings. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can find my email in the description box below. You can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. And if you want tarot readings that are love related or for relationship guidance, you can check my first channel, Between Realms Tarot. You can find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for being here, pile number 1, and see you next time. Hi, pile number 2. If you have picked the golden portal, this is going to be a reading about what life are you secretly meant for. And so let's start your reading. So, pile number 3, you seem to be meant for an unconventional life, because with this Uranus in Libra in the 4th house, there is a theme here of breaking cycles, of innovation, of living from a place of authenticity and freedom. In Libra in the 4th house, this feels like breaking cycles that are related to family patterns, generational cycles, home environment, building a different home, a different life, a different family that is different from what society expected, from what your family of origin expected. Maybe there is a theme also of working from home here with Uranus in the 4th house in Libra. Choosing a family rather than relying on something perhaps biological, maybe choosing people that represent family to you, and create emotional balance and healing that might seem different, or that might break old cycles. And so it's almost like you weren't born to inherit the story, or to repeat the story that you have inherited. With this King of Wands here, the life that you are living right now is a life of ambition and of action. You seem to be taking a lot of initiative, building something, chasing a goal, following your passions. But the King of Wands can become at some point exhausted, because there is constant moving, constant doing. And so maybe you're in a position where you're visible to the outer world, you're kind of participating in events, you're a figure that people get used to, but or kind of rely on. for initiative, for direction, and so you constantly are in or like saying things like you need to make things happen, or you need to constantly move, constantly be on the move, on the chase. You might be hustling even with this King of Wands energy. The Seven of Swords shows that what your soul is secretly craving, apologies, is that is freedom, independence, doing things differently, escaping the restrictions, creating your own path, doing things your own way. So the Seven of Swords seems to be saying that your soul might need space and figure out who you truly are. And this fits Uranus perfectly in the fourth house. This says that your soul may secretly want to step away from expectations and live life differently. With the Eight of Wands, it seems like your hidden gift is movement, and it definitely is beautiful with this King of Wands, because while you already have the capacity to be quick-minded, to be constantly on the move, action-oriented, a fast learner, somebody who's good at communication, physical and physical movement, and somebody who's capable of rapid change. And so this might indicate gifts of communication, gifts of physical movement, gifts of writing, teaching, sharing information, social media, of fast travel. And so you seem to have the gift to create momentum and of communication. But it seems like what's blocking your path towards a life that you are meant for is the Page of Wands. So the blockage here is scattered passion. The Page of Wands as a blockage might feel as having a lot of passion, having a lot of energy but no direction, starting things but not finishing, having momentum but not being consistent, having too many ideas and trying to master many things at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that, but when there is lack of consistency, that might become a bit disappointing, because what you start, you do not finish. So if you do not resonate, you don't have to take that message in, because the Page of Wands can be many things. It might be fear of committing to one and only path, and so there is some immaturity around your creativity, your vision, your passion. And so here the blockage says, are you willing to move beyond just excitement and into more purposeful action? The King of Swords speaks of the life that you are secretly meant for, and the King of Wands moving from the from the King of Wands in your current life towards the King of Swords, which is the life that you are secretly meant for, is a huge spectrum change, a perspective change, where you're adding learning and clear decision making. And so you do already have the talents of the King of Wands. You have the Page of Wands and the Eight of Wands here. You don't lack passion, you don't lack energy, you don't lack excitement, you don't lack motivation, but there might be some truth, knowledge, clear-headedness, strategicness, strategist. Okay, so some strategy that is lacking, and so while your soul is craving a swords energy, the Seven of Swords, you're seeking maybe more space for yourself, for your own creativity and authenticity. You're seeking to do things differently. The life that you are secretly kind of meant for is also a King of Swords. So you're moving from wands, from constantly doing, towards swords, towards clarity, towards thinking, towards more mental energy rather than physical energy alone. And you're combining those two in this life that you are secretly meant for. And so the King of Swords hints at an expert, somebody who's maybe a researcher, a writer, a teacher. That might be, those are just fields that demonstrate mental capacity and communication capacity. maybe those are not the things that you would like to do in your life. They are just symbolic to what you can do that is similar. So guidance, speaking the truth, communicating, teaching, mentoring, psychology, the law, coaching, maybe teaching, logic, philosophy. And so you're someone who becomes known for your mind and your wisdom in this life that you are meant for. What this life requires from you is the Ace of Swords. And so notice how we're moving from wands, constant wands, into swords. And this life is requiring from you clear decision making, clear headedness, honesty, seeking the truth, seeking logic, and seeing through illusions, not scattering your energy. And it's demanding mental clarity from you. It's demanding you to cut away what is not real and what is an illusion, and to bring to your life more truth and more clarity and more knowledge. And you're being called to maybe even identifying who you truly are and what you truly want beyond all the scattering of your energy that you might be going through right now. The Seven of Cups here. So I wanted to say something which is related to, I don't see that the life that you are living right now is incapacitating or wrong in any ways. The King of Wands in the upright brings a lot of passion, a lot of livelihood, and with the Eight of Wands and the Page of Wands, a lot of aliveness and freedom that you're living right now. So you don't have to have a bad life and then move towards a good one. You can just transition because something resonates more. And so your life may be something that you might be considering, or you might consider after this reading, is related to seeking more knowledge, seeking more truth, clarity, maybe even studying logic. And that could be something that starts the new chapter of your life, or contributes into the new chapter of your life. It's very interesting where we fit the Uranus in Libra in the 4th house, because Libra is an air energy, it's swords energy too. And Uranus in Libra can, especially Uranus, it's the higher octave of Mercury. And so there is more air energy that is at play here, but it's more about geniusness, like seeking clarity. But Libra talks about balance. And so you might be in this new chapter, or in this life that you are secretly meant for, someone who challenges old perspectives in relationships just by studying them, just by gaining more knowledge about them. And with the Seven of Cups here, the Seven of Cups talks about where you're being called to slay your illusions. There are many possibilities here. I feel like with the cups then now, there are many possibilities that might represent themselves to you, and you're being called to slay the distractions in a way. Slay the distractions. You have the Ace of Swords, the Slayer, and this is what you need to do. Slay the distractions that would show up in your path next. When we look at the biggest life lesson that you're going through, or that this life is meant to teach you, we have the card Cultivate Discernment. Oh, let me check, is it discernment or distinction? Let me check this out. So it's actually Cultivate Distinction. And this feels very, very important to this reading, because the lesson seems to stand apart, actually, to have the courage to stand apart. I feel like you don't lack that courage at all. I don't feel like you lack that courage. So there is a calling here for refinement, to become an expert in something, because this card shows clearly an occultist here, or even if it's not an occultist, it shows somebody who cultivated a lot of knowledge through these books They have their hand on the books, and this shows mastery. This shows cultivating knowledge and becoming an expert in something. But the expert here, they stand tall, and this shows refinement. This shows also wisdom, and so knowledge that is gained through practice too. So, developing your own voice through expertise, through learning, through knowledge, that will give you the capacity to stand apart, to not fit in, to challenge the consensus. And so, you're not meant to be ordinary. Not that ordinary is bad, it's just that you play a different role or a challenging role in this life. So, you're meant to become distinctive here. The intuition card is a message from your higher self, and this one talks about the fact that your mind is powerful, but your intuition is the leader. Or let's say it's a mixture, because the card here says you hold the answers, you know the truths, ancient ones await behind the doors of the mind. There is a great emphasis on intuition, and so maybe you're being called to develop intuition. Maybe the discernment here but is through slaying through the illusions with the Seven of Cups and cultivating that discernment and the distinction to distinguish actually what is intuition from what is anxiety, from what is a gut feeling. So your mind is definitely important through a lot of intelligence that you're meant to require or to acquire, but you're also meant to acquire intuition. So an inner knowing is very, very important for you. This is a message from your higher self, but your higher self is saying that you should balance your intuition with strategy. You should have both in a way. Strategy, knowledge, intellect are very, very important for you, but you have to listen to your inner voice too, to your inner knowing. You have to learn how to trust yourself on a very, very deep level, and that all comes through expertise and through gaining knowledge and working on your knowledge. The patience card is what makes this life deeply fulfilling, and this is beautiful because there is balance that is coming into your life. There is your soul is currently learning how to trust in the proper timing, how to allow things to unfold naturally. And maybe you want change now because of this King of Wands, Eight of Wands, and Page of Wands. You might be wanting to fasten the process here with the Seven of Swords. But you're being called to be patient because your season is coming and it cannot be forced. It will come on its own timing. As you see, this dragon's egg here cannot hatch before its timing. The creature or the baby wouldn't be complete. And so at the end here, pile number 2, you're secretly meant for a life of authenticity, of transformation, of clarity, of knowledge and wisdom and discernment. And this all is going to help you break patterns, old patterns that no longer work, to challenge the consensus, the expectations. And you're also meant to learn to trust your intuition and become known for your unique insight with the King of Swords. This King of Swords figure is so similar to the figure on the Cultivate Your Distinction card. They both have beards. They seem very much standing in their own power. And so you're meant to be known for some type of an expertise and to share your voice and your insight. And so pile number 2, this was your reading. I truly hope it resonates for you. If it does, please press the like button, comment down below and subscribe so you won't miss any future readings. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can check my email in the description box below. You can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. And if you are interested in love tarot readings or relationship guidance, you can check my first channel, Between Realms Tarot. You can find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for being here, pile number 2, and see you next time. Hi, pile number 3. If you have picked the purple door, this is going to be a reading about what life are you secretly meant for. And so let's start your reading. So, pile number 3, I feel like there is a combination of qualities that can describe a life that you are secretly meant for. Starting here with the first one, we have Neptune in the 8th house in Scorpio. And this is a very spiritual combination because Neptune represents spirituality, imagination, intuition, healing, mysticism. It's in Scorpio, so it does talk about a depth to who you truly are. And in the 8th house, it is also a very, let's say, scary house to others, because it's a house that also symbolizes depth. It talks about, it's the original house of Scorpio, and so there is a double Scorpio energy here where you're secretly meant for a life of self-integration, spiritual mastery, integration of the subconscious, trauma healing, shadow work, and maybe even kind of dabbling into the world of psychology and the world of transformation. But there is also another dimension to this related to a deep spiritual merging with other people, deep spiritual connections with other people. And your life seems to be carrying the theme of spiritual work, energy work, shadow work, healing, psychology, intimacy work. And so you're not meant for a material life, let's say. And there is nothing wrong with the material life. It's just that maybe that is not something that would be fulfilling for you. But always listen to your intuition, and this is just a tarot reading that is meant for perspective. Currently, with the Ace of Wands, you seem to be living a life of passion, of beginnings, of excitement, ideas, and inspiration. Maybe you have already started something new, or you have a desire to start something new, or you have a knowing that something new is calling for you, but you might not know what is it exactly. There is an energy of newness and a spark of newness in your energy and in your current life, pile number 3. With the Page of Cups, what your soul is secretly craving is emotional openness. This is romanticizing life, romanticizing your life in general, maybe kind of having more creativity, more gentleness, more romance, more love in your life. And your soul doesn't actually want to struggle. Your soul wants softness. Your soul is secretly craving emotional exchange and safety. The Four of Swords seems to be telling us something about a hidden gift of yours. And your hidden gift here seems to be the capacity to reflect, to heal, to process deeply, to pause and think, and to sit with your emotions, and also the capacity to hold silence. And you do not seem to fear stillness. You seem to be completely fine with stillness. And so this gift may be related to meditation practices, energy work, inner work. And what is though blocking this path to this life that you are secretly meant for is the Magician. The Magician here is usually a positive card, but as a block, the Magician can talk about already having the tools, but not necessarily feeling like you're the most confident person ever. The Magician talks about having what it takes to be on a certain path and to have or to manifest the life that you desire. But when it's a block, it talks about not feeling prepared enough, feeling as if all of the time you're not ready, doubting yourself, feeling like you lack more knowledge, you lack more expertise, you lack more tools, while you don't really realize how powerful you are already, and how just by the tools that you already have, i.e., the wands, which are motivation, energy, the swords, which are intellect and inspiration, the cups, which are emotion, and the pentacles, which are material abundance. And so there is a lot of doubting that is happening, and maybe even not much realization, or not much awareness of how powerful you are already in the way you are right now. The life that you are secretly meant for, here we have the lovers. And the lovers here might be reduced to only romance, but it does have, or it does signify much more. The lovers talk about making choices that feel aligned with your higher self, with your soul, with your authentic self too. Living according to what you value, and choosing love over fear, choosing to live from a place of love for yourself and others rather than from a place of fear. Living from a place of integration rather than a place of separation. And so your life, or the life that you are secretly meant for, seems to be filled with meaningful connections, meaningful decision making, meaningful choices. And this can absolutely indicate partnerships, soul tribe, healing work with others, working closely with others, even working on beauty with others, and deep emotional bonds, and also building a community that you value. And so this one card asks you, are you willing to choose the life that you feel aligned with your soul? And what does that require you is the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a card of commitment. It's a card of learning and teaching. It's a card of development, spiritual development, but also learning development. And so what you are required to do is to learn and to experience a level, or kind of reach a level where you can teach others what you have already learned. And so you're called to cultivate more expertise, to cultivate more learning, and to cultivate more wisdom in whatever you feel called to do here. And that requires commitment and an actual belief in what you do. And that also requires you to, at some point, share that knowledge and expertise with others. Maybe moving from a student to becoming a guide, and that can also talk about a lover's relationship, where you're sharing with others your wisdom in what you have learned. The future potential here seems to be the Ace of Pentacles, and you seem to be represented or presented with a possibility for or for stability, for a new opportunity, for something real in this path. And so this path specifically can become something very tangible for you. Maybe it is about because when we look at the Hierophant and the Neptune energy, there isn't only a wisdom component to this life, but there is also a love component to this life. And there is also a psychology component here. Maybe you want to be a psychologist, maybe a therapist. And so the path here, there is a huge potential for something deeply spiritual to become a real foundation, for a foundation to be built for a real life in something spiritual here. The biggest lesson here is the card Share Space. And this card definitely talks about this energy of Neptune in the 8th house in Scorpio, the Hierophant, the lovers. There is a big lesson here in your life related to not isolating yourself, to learn how to connect to others and to share space to others, to let people in, to be vulnerable with others and to receive support, to learn how to receive and to give support to others. And so you seem to be not walking alone. You seem to be learning how to deeply merge with other people in a healthy way, definitely. And so what makes this life deeply fulfilling is the purpose card. And the purpose card, as you see this tree has a lot of branches in it. And the creatures come to this tree so that they can get new wands for their magical practices. And the tree here speaks of finding purpose in being of service to another person. And so the purpose here is what makes this life deeply fulfilling for you. It is related to knowing how to be learning how to be of purpose by being present with other people. So maybe you felt different, or too different from people around you, but that is your purpose here, because once certain crowd of people or a tribe of people finds you, you're gonna find purpose in being with each other and being there for each other. And so maybe what makes you feel strange is the very thing that helps others, and that is the whole purpose. With the Greet the Darkness card, this one says, I think I'm gonna need to cover this card, but it says, here where the spine bends and the mouth quivers, breathes the hidden, the pieces that make you whole but cut deep with all of the sharp edges. And this is a message from your higher self, pile number 3. This one talks about accepting your shadows, not running away from your shadows, giving your shadows more love. I would like to say that a message from your higher self is simply put is doing shadow work. And shadow work is about giving your self more love, and especially the qualities that you run away from, the qualities that you don't like about yourself, or the qualities that you tend to hide or suppress. They are to be loved and encouraged, not encouraged, but more like recognized and integrated in who you are. They are to be friended and not to be hated. And so this card here and your higher self are calling you for deep healing, to not hate those. You're secretly here meant for a life of emotionally deep connections. You're also meant for a life of healing and purpose that you find in being with other people too, and purpose that you find in your uniqueness too. And because when that gets accepted by you, your uniqueness, when that gets accepted by you, when your shadows are being integrated and loved by you, they are going to be loved by other people. And once they are loved by other people, they are also going to be, or to give you a sense of purpose here. And so you're meant for a life where your sensitivity here and your emotional and spiritual gifts are to be shared with others too, and they are meant to help you and help others. And so pile number 3, this was your reading. I truly hope it resonated for you. If it did, please press the like button, comment down below, and subscribe so you won't miss any future readings. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can check my email. You will find it in the description box below. You can also DM me in my Instagram or TikTok account. And if you would like to maybe watch tarot that is love related and relationship guidance, you can check my first channel, Between Realms Tarot. You can find the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for being here, pile number 3, and see you next time.